Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and welcome back to my review for chapter 232 of Tokyo Revengers. I'm finally able to upload again, which is absolutely amazing, so let's get into this review as quickly as possible. But if you are new around here, as per usual, quickly hit that subscribe button and also be sure to leave a like on the video, as it really helps out with the algorithm. And honestly, I'm probably going to need it after not being able to post for 3 weeks. I've probably slipped out in some kind of way. So if you guys can hit the like button, I'd absolutely appreciate it more than you could ever imagine. But yeah, anyway, enough of that. Let's get into this review. So chapter 232 kind of starts off exactly where we left at 231, and it's honestly built up throughout the last like 5 or 6 chapters now to this climactic point, and it's something that everyone had honestly been waiting for. And the key text at the start of the chapter obviously is it's Mikey versus South. But what was that vision about? So obviously that's referring to the vision that Takemichi had right at the end of the chapter of South lying dead on the ground, obviously. And we skip straight away off South and go over to everyone else, including like Mikey and Kikucho and Senju and even Takomi. Takomi's there like, you, what are you up to now? It skips straight off to Takomi. He doesn't even get to, like kind of finish what he's saying at all. And goes over to Senju, who's like, get out of the way, Mikey. South is my opponent. But Mikey just gives like South this absolute, complete and utter death stare. And it's like all of the dark is completely gone from his eyes. And it's just completely white, like he's blind, like he can't see anything. He's completely shrouded in darkness, which I think is absolutely amazing. The kind of like look that he's going with, this like the shrouded in darkness look really makes sense. Like giving him this wide-eyed pupil really makes sense, having him shrouded in darkness that way. I just really like the look of it. I think it looks great. And he says to Senju, he's like, do you want to die next? And Senju's like, what the hell is this murderous vibe that I'm getting from him? And then out of nowhere, it cuts straight off Senju back over to South, who like pretty much initiates the fight between Mikey and Senju. And this week's chapter is a lot shorter than, I wouldn't say usual. The last few chapters have been quite a bit shorter, but this one's a lot shorter because of what's about to happen pretty much. As they begin to fight, South says, let's begin the Requiem's finale, which is actually like directly inspired by Mozart's, I think it's called Final Requiem, which is like his song, or one of his obvious songs that he made throughout his entire life, and it's one of his most well-known ones apparently. I used to play violin back in the day, so I absolutely love the idea of South and his music progression that we're seeing more and more throughout the entire story so far. Getting to know South's character has been probably one of the coolest experiences throughout the Tokyo Revengers story so far, as he's completely from a entirely new background, and he's just not like anyone else that we've seen really so far throughout the story. He's someone that reckons he can actually contest with Mikey. And obviously, we know that this is almost completely shut down here, as Mikey kicks him in the face, and South like kind of throws a punch back and connects with Mikey's face. It goes into a complete like setup of 2 panels where they're just completely throwing hands. You can see the utter speed that these hands have been thrown at with the lines that Ken has drawn to pretty much show that. All you can see is the heads of both of these people, or like the slight body of TERANO, and mostly the entire body of Mikey, but all you can see is like the main heads of them throwing hands, like slightly hitting each other. And South saying, like, with no one interfering, a sanctuary of you and me. Finally, I can have this battle to prove that I'm strong enough to, like, defeat you. But obviously, the beat gets completely and utterly stopped when Takemichi makes like his first real important decision to stand in between Mikey and TERANO, and he says, that's enough, Mikey. Like he needs to stop this. This has gone utterly too far. And South, obviously pissed off because of this, is like, Hanagaki, why did you stop the fight? Like, why have you done this?
I can't believe you've done this.
And, from the back, South looks fine. He doesn't look that bad. He kind of looks in the same condition as Mikey, with a little bit of like bruising. But that really isn't the case. Takemichi's like, you've got to stop or else South will die. and you get this panel of what South looks like, and he's been completely beaten to a pulp. Like, he looks like Takemichi looked like when he fought Taiju, except worse somehow, which I don't even know how someone of his size has like managed to lose to someone of Mikey's size with this much of like a horrendous defeat. Like, he's been absolutely destroyed. It's insane, and he doesn't even really like realize what's going on in this panel, as you can see from the question mark that comes from his mouth. He's like, but like, what do you mean? Like, how? Like, I'm kind of confused here. And Mikey says, you can't stop destroying things, can you? I'm the same way. That's why I'm here, to destroy you. And this like very cold glare from him, which I think's quite, you know, like dangerous looking. Some blood like coming out of his mouth, like he's got that complete and utter bloodlust. And South's like, what the, I can't move my body, which I think again is extremely reminiscent of when Kisaki was hit by the truck, or hit by Truck-kun, and it was lying on the ground and said that he couldn't move his body or couldn't move his limbs. The same kind of thing here is going on with South. He's just standing there and can't seem to move in front of Mikey. He's like absolutely terrified. And Takemichi here realizes it's pretty much the exact same kind of situation as with Kazutora. And he's like, Mikey-kun is was turned into a murderer. And as Mikey walks up to Takemichi, he brutally grabs his arm and just snaps it, or like seemingly breaks it at the elbow and snaps it over his knee, which is brutal, absolutely insane. I really didn't expect something that like crazy to just happen on kind of like their first interaction like with each other. It's insane. Takemichi obviously falls to the ground in pain and just starts screaming, and I don't really know what he's gonna have to do, like gotta be able to do from here. Mikey walks over and asks South if he wants to die, like pretty much ending the chapter here, as South just blankly stares at him with this beat up face, completely confused and not really knowing what to do. And you guys can see all the amazing artwork that's been put in this video throughout the entire video from the people in my Discord, so be sure to like join my Discord as well if you guys want to keep up to date with the latest chapters for when they do release, because I'll put a ping out to everyone, or someone else will put a ping out to everyone when it does come out. And also feel free to like drop your colorings and stuff in the Discord so they can get shown off like in the video of ones that you've done for like the latest chapters and all that kind of stuff. That's if they get put out in time. Obviously this week's a little bit different because I had to release the video a little bit later, but be sure to do something like that if you guys are interested. And obviously the chapter does entirely end with Takemichi finally screaming out for Mikey not to do it. And something instantly that I want to point out that I think is quite interesting is the kind of like the final bit, or the final like kind of paneling that we get of the entire chapter, which says, you know, right at the bottom, the desperation echoes, but it's giving us that like kind of black line like paneling, which it does a lot of the time for like the future sight, or for like past memories and all that kind of stuff. When Takemichi would often get something like that, or time travel, he'll get that kind of black line work. So I'm wondering if there's something to do with that going on there. Obviously we're not going to find out until the start of next week when the chapter does drop, or like when the spoilers do drop. Maybe we'll get some throughout the weekend, which would be, you know, absolutely amazing. But yeah, this chapter was something else. I really didn't expect, like I've been saying this for the last few weeks now, I really didn't expect this to happen, or I really didn't expect that to happen, because honestly I've been blown away. Things that I've expected to happen really just haven't happened, you know, like, and we haven't been able to get these spoilers, or at least legitimate spoilers now for the last, I don't know, probably 2 months probably. So a lot of it has been a lot of predictions on what could possibly happen. But, you know, for next week, I'm predicting that Mikey and Takemichi probably get into some kind of fight, and Takemichi starts his campaign to become that boxing bag of his, and somehow also, you know, like starts his quest, or starts his campaign as well, to try and defeat Mikey, to get Mikey to look up at the sky. Obviously, that's the biggest foreshadowing that we have been given, I think, so far throughout this entire arc. The fact that, like, Draken on his deathbed, crying his eyes out, said that Mikey hasn't seen defeat. He hasn't seen the sky. He hasn't lay on the ground and looked up at it. Obviously he has normally, but he hasn't lay on the ground and looked up at it after being beaten, you know, not to a pulp, but just after losing like a fight. And he kind of needs that to happen here to get that sense of realization back into him, because he really just doesn't kind of have any actual grasp on reality anymore. And I think that's quite evident with how he's acting here. I think he probably has gone and completely been enveloped by his dark impulses for the fact that Draken has actually passed away, and he knows that Draken has passed away. He just didn't say it at all, because I feel like if he said it, it would have just come out a lot earlier and he might have attacked Kikucho. It's just a thought. Probably not that, but just for the fact that he doesn't actually want to say it, because then, you know, it's just like Emma all over again. He'll probably break down utterly in tears. But this way here, with not recognizing it, he decides to turn into darkness and just goes absolutely ham on everyone there. So I'm wondering how Takemichi is going to be somehow able to defeat Mikey in a fight somehow, possibly with, you know, like the addition of old Toman members. There's been that really cool panel that has been floating around that someone drew of a whole bunch of like Toman members and like Brahmin members all wearing the Brahmin uniform, like Smiley and Shifuyu and all that. And I think that would be really cool to see, as much as I don't think it will happen because of obviously how their paths in life have kind of been determined. But obviously, you know, things do change, and Ken Waikui may have changed his mind for all we know. We just have to wait and find out, I guess. But yeah, anyway, I'd love to know what you guys all think down in the comment section below. So make sure you do drop a comment down in the comment section and let me know, because it's been a while since I've been able to read the comments, or fresh comments at least. It has been a while since I've been able to actually, you know, like post a review somewhat on time due to, you know, the 3 false strikes that did happen, which was quite sad, but I can't do anything about it while I'm still small. I don't have the money to, you know, obviously defend myself yet from that kind of stuff. And I just have to hope that if they do take me to court, obviously I'll end up winning, because I knew that I was right in this case. But sometimes you just don't know these things, and stuff like this can happen. But luckily it wasn't taken any further. Or at least at this moment it isn't. I've had one of the strikes removed, and I'm recording this in preparation to release it hopefully in the next, you know, like 12 hours or so. So if this is up, then it's extremely good news, and I'm more than happy to finally have this anxiety that I've had for the last 2 weeks taken off my back, because it has been absolute pain. If you guys do want to support me further, then be sure to check out my merch and all that kind of stuff, which I will leave a link to in the description. I made it over my break while I had time off, because I didn't really have too much else to do apart from edit videos and color panels and, you know, do all that kind of stuff. So I made some merch, so be sure to check that out if you are interested. Yeah, and also be sure to check out my Patreon as well if you guys do want to support me. And all my like explain videos, so like my up and coming explain videos are going to be released 2 days early on there. So if you guys want to get a sneak peek at those, and like the editing and the audio and all that kind of stuff before it gets released on my YouTube, then be sure to check that all out in the description as well. But yeah, anyway, if you guys are new around here and you want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers content and like reviews and all that kind of jazz, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to leave a like on the video, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. But anyway, enough of that. For now, it's been your professional degenerate Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.